216-578-1007 if you want to join us live. 800-348-1007. Send me a text, 35192. Want to do that? Guardians in St. Louis tonight. That is an 8:15 first pitch. Their final road series of the regular season. Guardians against the Cardinals tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. Before they wrap up with a couple of homestands against the Cincinnati Reds. They'll play 3 against the Astros. And so the regular season will culminate next Sunday, 29th. Then we go into the postseason. And they have already put out all the information on those postseason tickets. The wild card and or divisional round tickets will be available to the general public on Tuesday, the 24th at 10 a.m. Eastern. CLEguardians.com/tickets for the details. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio and you do it from out of state, I'd like to know where you are. So check in if you're one of our bureau chiefs. Joe listens in Dallas, Texas. Justin is one of our bureau chiefs in Phoenix. Sarah listens in Norwalk, Connecticut. Kayla is in Duxbury, Vermont. And Shelby is a new listener in Butte, Montana. I don't know if we're still being beset with technical problems over there on the app. You know, you got to laugh so you don't cry. And we were constantly getting, our segments were constantly being interrupted by advertisements. And so a lot of times people will send me, they'll say, hey, this ad interrupted you guys talking. When I listen back to it, I know that it is a normal end of a segment. You know, you can usually tell, obviously, because if it's in the middle of me saying something, like, you know, mid-sentence or mid-syllable and it cuts in, that's one thing. But barring that, when that doesn't happen, it certainly seems like a lot of the advertisements, we've talked about this, certainly seems like a lot of the advertisements are not random. They can't be coincidental. There's
it sounds like they're playing off the topics.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's really weird. Matt sent me a clip. He said this is the perfect transition into a podcast. This is from a few days ago. It was a show with just me and Mary. This would have been while you were gone.
The timing is too close for him to say, I hate Taylor Swift, and then for there to be a gun threat.
Could you imagine if it had been like a 14-year-old girl walking out with like a Taylor Swift shirt on? And
instead of stealing her dad's gun and going to school, she went to the golf course. It's not a crazy thought.
You gotta let kids be kids. You gotta turn them loose on the playground, as long as the playground is safe.
Yeah, you gotta let kids be kids, whether they're bringing guns to school or whatever. So it's so strange to me. I mean, I know that there's... She
wears short skirts. I make death threats.
I know that there's so many different advertisements that are run not only here on the air but on the app, and I'm not privy to all of them. But boy, that certainly seems dead on, connected at least somewhat to what we were talking about there. So maybe there are legitimate technological forces at play that I'm not hip to. I got my own problems. I'm not back there figuring things out with the sales department. Shohei Ohtani, big night last night. I think they were in Florida, the Dodgers, playing the Marlins, and he killed it. Not only did the Dodgers win 20-4. Oh, hey, you hear that?
All right.
Hey, we got a smoke alarm going off here at 668 Euclid.
You want me to go check and see what's going on?
Yeah, let's see what's up. Mm-hmm. Now that all the lights are popping off and we can hear the...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing technical difficulties.
You know, normally these are the kind... Anywhere you are in the office, right? I think we've all kind of been conditioned to ignore these kinds of things. If you hear the alarm... The lights flicker, you know, that little flashing light. So we'll see.
Program momentarily. Please stay tuned.
Again, there's no one here today except us. So.
Just a test.
Just a test. We probably got an email on it, too.
Probably did.
And I probably saw that email and halfway understood it. And, okay, good. Well, there you go. Just a test. Shohei Ohtani last night joins what they call the 50-50 Club. That is, of course, for people uninitiated to baseball. That is somebody who is really, really a huge fan of this delicious grapefruit lime soda. Started making this in Milwaukee a long time ago. It's a little harder to find these days. Some people will opt for the squirt or something else. If you're making a Paloma, I know I've used a lot of 50-50, but it is getting harder to find. And so, I'm sorry? And so Shohei Ohtani, despite not being from this country, has still clearly, I don't know why they're making such a big deal about it, but he's clearly made enough of a dent in
he loves about
grapefruit lime soda. And it's not, you'd think he'd just love the grapefruit and lime soda itself, but it's that he loves all the other natural flavors that are in it, I have to think. So that's not what it is?
That's not what it is. No, he hit 50 home runs and has 50 stolen bases, and he's the first player in the history of Major League Baseball to do that, which is insane because baseball's been around for a long time, and he is the sole member of the 50-50 club. My buddy, Eitan Levine, actually threw out the first pitch of that game, so he was there and got to witness this, which is just incredible.
Huh.
Ohtani sends one in the air.
Well, I don't want the music. I want the clip.
I got the clip. You're getting the music with it.
Yeah, I got the clip somewhere. There it is.
On a 1-2, Ohtani sends one in the air. The other way. Back it goes. Gone! One-of-a-kind player. One-of-a-kind season. Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Now, they did, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying, when he got to home plate, they did spray him with 50-50 soda because he is a huge fan of that one-of-a-kind grapefruit lime. Did you guys get 50-50? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Did you get 50-50 in Ohio?
I vaguely remember 50-50, but I don't think it,
because they made it, it started in Milwaukee, so we got it in Chicago. I mean, you get 50-50. There was another one called Bubble Up. There was like a golden age back in the day of, I know they still do it, but it seemed like there were a lot more back then, of sodas and pops trying to cut in on Sprite's dominance of the whole lemon lime thing. I don't know why everybody thought they had a new take on lemon lime, but there was 50-50, and I'm a Squirt man from way back.
I love Squirt. I'm a big fan of Squirt.
Yep. Squirt is
in
great.
Any form.
In any possible combination or permutation, Squirt is great. So Shohei Ohtani.
I'll just do this. Oh, you're so gross, Bill. Oh, you're just so gross.
Just because Mary's not here doesn't mean that we have to adopt.
Us, yeah.
We don't have to co-opt her pain. He's the first person ever to do this?
Yeah.
Well, then how is it that he joins the 50-50 club?
He created the 50-50 club.
Well, I thought they said he joined the 50-50 club.
Well, they say that, but he joins the 50-50 club as the inaugural member.
Wow.
Yeah.
50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a single season. So Ricky Henderson didn't do that back in the day? He didn't steal 50 bases?
He stole 50 bases, but he never hit 50 home runs.
He was just in the 50 club.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Ricky Henderson might have stole 100 bases in a season or something like that.
Yeah.
Ricky Henderson stole a lot of bases.
Most. My brother sold a Ricky Henderson rookie card many years ago. Got himself a good chunk of cash for that. Speaking of controversy, by the way, the Shohei Ohtani ball went out into the club seats, and an 18-year-old kid is pissed off because, no one's shocked by this, is a giant scrum of grown-ass men trying to pull this ball from everyone else's hands because it's going to be worth a lot of money. One of the guys who auctions off this kind of athletic memorabilia said that this ball would probably go for about $250,000. This guy who sold Aaron Judge's 62nd home run ball for $1.5 million said that the Shohei Ohtani ball and the bat would probably get about $250,000 a piece.
Ricky Henderson stole 130 bases in one season.
There you go. That is a hell of a lot of bases. And there was a kid at the ballpark yesterday celebrating his 18th birthday. There's a kid named whatever. Some kid is there. And he was upset because they were just inside the door of the club seats or whatever, and the ball comes. I'll show you the video here. The guy filming it is yelling and screaming, and everybody is down there on the ground trying to get the ball. And at the very end, the guy who emerges victorious The kid is claiming that the guy ripped it from his hands, that he had his hands on.
Oh my
Ball
God!
gets hit and it's coming right to
God!
them, right?
Oh my God!
It's a domed stadium.
God! Oh my God! Get it! Oh my God! No way! Whoa!
And so it's a bunch of dudes knocking chairs around and diving, and they're going under tables and they're moving things. And this kid in the blue hat seems to have his hand on the ball. And this other guy, who's considerably older than him, is fighting for it. And of course, he stands up and he goes, "I got it!" And the kid just throws his arms up. The kid throws his arms up, and he's like, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen grown men do that to children, right? This is an 18-year-old kid, and okay, he's having his birthday, whatever. But the guy is like, "Look, I'm gonna sell this thing, or whatever."
Yeah, that's what the 18-year-old kid would have liked to have done that too.
Of course.
But you ripped it out of his hands, dirtbag.
The other guy had my hand between his legs, holding my arm, and he took the ball from my hand, is what he said. The stadium security ushered the guy to a private location, and they were trying to, I think, negotiate with him for, because the stadium always wants to do something with the ball or the team.
Yeah, well,
they go, "Hey, we'll give
Shohei
you
Ohtani wants it,
right."
Yeah.
They go, "I'll give you $500 for it."
Yeah. Well, you have free drinks, soft drinks
for the rest of the season. Yep, soft
or
drinks
domestic,
well drinks.
Yeah.
And so the guy decided that he was going to leave the stadium with the ball, obviously. Ken Golden of Golden Auctions says that the ball is probably worth $250,000. Again, anything is just worth what somebody else will pay for it, but I imagine you could probably get that. Guys who do a lot of this on places like eBay and auction sites say that that's probably a very reasonable assessment of that ball. So the kid is, he's not out anything because he didn't, according to the other guy, he didn't have anything. But I always love to see, this is a different situation in that obviously
that ball's worth a lot.
That ball is worth a lot of money. It's when the regular home run balls get hit and you see, again, grown-ass men diving over seats and knocking children out of the way to try to get these balls. So I'd say beware anyone who takes all of that seriously. But the Dodgers end up
for $250,000 ball, I'm going to be on the ground trying to get it too. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'd rip it out of somebody else's hand, but I'll be in that scrum.
Elbow a guy in the nuts, knocking over tables and trying to get
with my mouth.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Alan, Trucker John, King of I-71. Listening to a podcast from a couple days ago. Bill, you're going to do pumpkin patch stuff? Check out White House Fruit Farm. You and your girlfriend and her daughter, they'll really enjoy it out there.
Oh, that's it. Okay. The White House Fruit Farm. That's what Trucker John says. Okay, well, he would know. Yeah, because you said you're going to be doing like fall kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Pumpkin patch stuff. Well, that'll be fun.
Let me see where that one is. The one that I'm going to go to is out near her, and it's like Regal something, Pumpkin Patch or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Regal Farms or something like that. And
do they have a corn maze?
They do. They have two corn mazes. They have like a smaller one, and they have like a real big one. And then they also have, like I said, a bunch of stuff. They got the petting zoo aspect of it. They got, you can shoot crab apples at targets.
Crabapples?
Crabapples, yes. It's crabapples at, no, you shoot crab apples at targets with these, basically potato guns, but they're crabapple guns. It's really fun. It's a good spot.
I was reading about there was a bunch of people injured at one of these wagon rides. You know, they do the, when you go to pumpkin patches and things like that in Wisconsin, they had one of these apple orchard wagon rides, where you're sitting on bales of hay. And it's always a lot of families. So if anything is going to go south, there's going to be kids that get hurt or whatever. But Lafayette, Wisconsin, and I don't know where that is, but one of our Wisconsin bureau chiefs forwarded me the story about a big old wagon ride accident where 18 people were hospitalized. This is western Wisconsin, middle of the day, and just a bunch of people on one of these rickety wagon rides. And it was going down an embankment. and whoever was driving it lost control, and the whole thing like overturned. And they said 3 people suffered life-threatening injuries, and all 18 people are still trying to recover from this wagon overturning during a school field trip. So this is the middle of the day. It's mostly kids. Bushel and a Peck apple orchard in Chippewa Falls. I understand that, that's one of those things you're going to do when you're a kid. Did you guys have school trips to apple orchards and things like that?
Yeah, we did stuff like that.
Right.
And then we would do
It's always
a lot of church
disappointing,
stuff.
by the way. Always disappointing.
So there was the church I grew up in, Mormon Church Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Mm-hmm.
They had what they called like a welfare farm where they would grow produce and then can it or freeze it or give it to people that were in need. And so we'd go to this one farm and they'd do apples and strawberries, and in the fall we'd go out there and pick apples, and it was so annoying.
Well, just
Like,
because you have like a lot of the apples they're on the ground, or they're rotten, or they have whatever.
Well,
it's not,
It was just one of those things where it was my Saturday morning, and so when people will do that, and like, oh, it's a date, we're gonna go pick apples on a date. I'm like, that's a dumb date. I hate that date.
a date to go pick apples.
We're gonna go pick apples. We're gonna have a nice, I don't mind going to an apple orchard, buying some apples.
Yeah,
but it's not one of those things where I want to be the one picking them.
Yeah,
same thing with like pick your own berries. No.
Yeah, hey, here's a little basket. You want to go pick raspberries or blueberries? You're like, no, I don't. Don't want to do that. No,
I have bags right here that cost $1 more. Like you can just, I don't need to.
Well, that's why now that they have, if you're over 21, they have like cornfield, maize, but with wine.
Yeah.
Because they're like, grown people don't want to go anymore and go apple picking. I don't think.
Yeah, there's probably still some people. Again, when you go there for other events or other, I love a hayride, I love a corn maze, things like that, but I don't want to be out there picking produce.
No. These aren't jobs that Americans want to do, all right? We know this. Picking produce. We don't, another person's job is somehow our leisure activity. We're doing it for free. Here's the sheriff talking about the incident.
Field trip in the town of Lafayette. Several children, along with parents and chaperones, were on a wagon ride through an apple orchard. During the time, one of the wagons began to lose control as it was descending on a hill. They attempted to stop the wagon from descending down the hill sideways, and it abruptly overturned. When the wagon overturned, there were multiple injuries to both children and adults.
Mm-hmm. What a good line reading, too, from that guy. He's a natural. Yeah, they tried to brake the tractor, obviously, and then the hitch and the wagon kind of it jackknifed, and then it went rolling down the hill. But, boy, what a story. How did Nana pass away? It was an apple orchard wagon incident there in Chippewa Falls. We don't really like to talk about it, and as a result, at family get-togethers, no apple pies. Nothing with apples in it. It's a triggering fruit.
The wagon wreck of 24.
That's right. We don't much talk about it anymore, but when I was younger, I went ass over tin cup, as my pap used to say. I got to take a break. Comedian Derek Cahill is going to join us in a bit. He is doing an afternooner tomorrow. Talk about an early show at the Cleveland Funny Bone. Got 1 million people following him on TikTok, so we'll catch up with him. Our buddy Bobby Kelly is going to be later on. He and Bill doing some shows over the weekend at Hilarities.